holding by the two dots, the bottom of Samach Yom Beis V'hinei. This Peirik Mem Dal is continuing the discussion of Ahava and the idea that his bonus elicits Ahava, but he's focusing on two Ahavas that are Shavat L'chol Nefesh MiYisrael, because the Yerushalayim Aviseinu, they're part of what's called in the emphasis that I've always made, the Klolos Yisrael. And the two examples, the lower levels, Nafshi V'sicha B'layla, to desire Hashem because He's our Neshama, right? And the higher Madrega is Kibrad Ishtatel Basaravu V'im Yatev V'nafshi, loving the Eibishter more than you love yourself. And he says it's hard to mean it, but inside the Neshama it's emes. And he uses the word hergo. Acclimate yourself, get yourself used to it, to repeatedly think about the Eibishter as your father, till you'll develop a sense of serving Hashem as your father. And he started to discuss this idea of Machshava Teva Kadosh Baruch Hu Mitzvah L'Maisa, which was already discussed in Tanya chapter Tezayin 16. And here he Mamish repeats it over again, and I'm not sure what he wants, except that in chapter 16 he was talking about his bonus, which is Me'edet HaSeichel Tivi. And Machshava Teva Kadosh Baruch Hu Mitzvah L'Maisa means if you're a person who cannot reveal full Avos Hashem and Yirus Hashem, the Eibush is Mitzvah L'Maisa. Here he's talking about revealing the Pnimius and Neshama, Ahava Mitzvah the Nefesh. And Machshava Teva Kadosh Baruch Hu Mitzvah L'Maisa. If you try to Me'edet a love for Hashem because He's your life, or because He's your father, and you fail, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzvah. So let's read it now inside. V'hinei. These two levels are what we call Ava Tivis, whether it's Nafshi V'sicha B'layla, or it's Kibrad Ishtadl. Says the Rebbe like this: the good news is that there are Yerushalanu, they're an inheritance to us from our fathers. So Ukmei Teva Ben Nafshi Seinu, therefore it's like a nature in our personalities, and therefore it's, so to speak, easier for a person to reach, even though it's a very high madrega of Ahava. And he adds, it includes also fear, like the Rebbe said, Sof Perek Yotes. Shehi, later, a person is afraid. Miliparat Chas V'Shalom, for being separated, God forbid, from the source of our life, which is Nafshi V'sicha B'layla. V'avinu Amiti, that's Kibrad Ishtadl, our true father, Baruch Hu. You see the 2 points, Moshe Chaim. Yemeker Chayenu, this is Nafshi V'sicha B'layla. V'avinu Amiti, this is the second one. Afa Pikei, nevertheless, Eina Nikrois, B'Shem Dechilu Rechimu Tivim. They would not be called Yir and Ava, which are only natural as opposed to intellectual. This is the same point he makes at the end of chapter 16. When it's in the mind and the thought of the person alone, and it's hidden in that. In other words, a person thinks about Hashem in a way that Hashem is Kiyuchayach, source of life. A person thinks about Hashem, that Hashem is his father. And he doesn't develop feelings in his heart. This would be called the Chil Rachim Tivim, natural love. Why? Because that's what it is. It's totally unrealistic for a Jew like me and you to think of Hashem as our father. Because it's part of the neshama, we can have that capacity. So when we have a hidden love for the Eibush as our father, or a hidden love of the Eibush as Meker Chayenu, this is called Ava Tifis. Va'az, and then Mekemam, the place to which it ascends, is the Yud Sfiras, the Yetzirah, the 10 Sfiras of Yetzirah, Uleshaman, to the Esa Sfiras of Yetzirah, in Mailas Iman, they lift up with them. HaTeira v'amitzvahs, the Teira and mitzvahs that we do and perform, Habois, Machamasan, and Bizibasan, that come because of them and in their cause. Right? In other words, like this. We know that mitzvah b'lei kavanah and b'lei neshama. You have to have a kavanah in the mitzvah. What's the kavanah? Avas Hashem and Yiras Hashem. How do you get this kavanah forward? Through His bonus. We spent a pedic and a half on Yir, a pedic and a half on Ava. There's many different types of love. B'klolos, there's 2 types of love. B'klolos. And it's not Avarab and Avasalem. The first is a love that you generate. You create feelings in your heart. You invent emotions for Hashem. And the second is you reveal the Neshama's love for the Eibishter. When you reveal the Neshama's love for the Eibishter, it's easier and it's higher. It's easier because it's a matana, it's in the Neshama, and it's higher because the Neshama is infinite. As opposed to when you invent original feelings for the Eibishter in your heart, when you invent the original feelings in your heart, this is mamash daim bashaf, your creativity. So the Alter Rebbe says like this: if you do his bonus with the intent not of developing original emotions, you're going to create feelings, but just simply going to uncover the Neshama's love for Hashem on a level of Kiyuchayacha, on a level of Ata Avinu. So I'll tell you like this: when you think about Hashem, that He's my Father, think about Hashem, He's my Meker Chayim, my source of life, and I don't develop revealed feelings, that's called the Chilu L'chibu Tivim. Those Ava V'yira lift up my Teira mitzvahs to the world of Yetzirah. Ava, however, second line from the bottom, Kishein Bez Galus Sleep, when a person actually reveals in his heart a natural love to the Eibush, the Nikri Usa the Liba Bezeir. It's called Nazeh, the will of the heart. And therefore, umekeiman b'yutzviris debriya, the mitzvahs, the place of ava v'yira, which is coming from your nature. You're developing a love for Hashem, because He's your life. You're developing a love for Hashem, because He's your Father. The ability to develop this love is because of the neshama, but you're revealing it through His bonus, so it goes till briya. Well, the sham hein mailes, and to briya they lift up top of Samachdal and Amar Alaf along themselves. Hatayra v'hamitzvahs habayis machamas. The Torah and mitzvahs we do because of this avos Hashem yiras Hashem. Now, l'cheira, when I reveal a natural love, it shouldn't be called seichel. I'm using my seichel not to reveal a love that I'm creating. I'm using my seichel to reveal a natural love. So it should be called tivium. So the Alter Rebbe explains. Mipnei, because it's taket true that this love is in my nature. But sheyitziyasa mehahelim b'ha'ester alev. It's coming out from the hiddenness and the concealment of the heart. El b'chinas gil, to the revealed state. Hi ayidei adas. That happens through my mind. And planting one's thought firmly. And a very intense contemplation. From the depths of one's heart and effort. Yatir more, v'toded and constant. Be'ein sav baruch hu in the Eibishter. Eichu chayinu mamash is our life. That's again, nafshi v'sicha balayla. Vavidu amiti baruch hu, that's the idea of tibrade ishtadl. So the Alter Rebbe says, even though I'm using my hisbonenus to reveal my teva, since I have to use my hisbonenus and have to work hard, it's called the chilu rechim usichlim, as if I invented these emotions on my own. Everyone else says in Iyar, in the world of Briya, Makanana lives, Tamon, over there, Eimei law, the higher madrega of understanding of Bina. Shehi hisbonenus, which is the meditation, but it ain't safe. Chaya, baruch hu, the Eibishter, who's the source of all living things. Like it says in Pasach Eliyahu, Bina Liba, Bina is a place of the heart, because of Bo'alev Maven. Bina gives you an understanding to the point that your heart actually feels. And therefore, says Alter Rebbe, when you use your seichel and your hisbonenus koyach to reveal your natural love, which is a teva by you, when you succeed in revealing it, we wouldn't call that an ava tivis, we would call it an ava seichlis, because your effort revealed the natural love. Moreover, nachazach. These two madregas of ahava, whether it's an ahava of nafshi v'ticha balayla or it's a higher madrega of kibra deishtadl, says the Alter Rebbe, they include also an infinite love, which is ogedeila umu'ula, it's greater and better. From actually only having a love and fear for Hashem, which is based entirely in my seichel, entirely in my mitzias as a person. When I do hisbonenus and create original emotions for the Eibishter, it's avas elam. When I do hisbonenus to reveal my natural love, my tivias love for the Eibishter as His son, or as He's my source of life, says Alter Rebbe, first of all, those midas are not called teva, they're called seichel, because your seichel revealed them. And second of all, those midas are avarah, but they're infinite, because it's a matana from the Eibishter. So here you see the Alter Rebbe going now full circle. He started off the sugi of Ava with Ava and said, let's not talk about Ava. You know why? It's Ava Tanugim, it's a matana from the Eibishter. Let's talk about Ava Selim. That's through his bonus. After he talked about Avas Elam, which is Ava through his bonus, now understand what's the pshat Avas Elam is Ava through his bonus. I learn about Hashem and I think about Hashem till I create feelings in my heart. After he does that, he says, and then there's another his bonus. His bonus, which I'm not using my mind to create feelings in my heart. His bonus, I'm using my mind to uncover the natural feelings in my neshama. And now he finishes the sugya of what's called the hisbonenus, which is revealing the natural feelings of my neshama. And he says, this love that I have for Hashem, which is based on my thinking about Hashem and revealing my natural love that I'm born with, has two milas. Number one, we're going to call it Ava V'yira Sichliyim, because I brought it out through my seichel. Number two, it's Ava Rabba, because it's my neshama takeh. I cannot reach Ava Rabba. Ava Rabba is infinite. I'm finite. My neshama is infinite. So when you use your hisbonenus to reveal your natural love, you have Saida Maila of Seichel and Saida Maila of Rabbi.
What's the Maila
of Olam? That's tomorrow. Tomorrow. You'll come back and see the Maila of Avasel tomorrow.
He makes the Avas Rabbi.
It has every Maila because it comes to hisbonenus, and you'll see what he says tomorrow.